Welcome to Talking Schmitz. I'm your host, Nate Schmitz. The goal of this show is to help you improve both mentally and physically. Enjoy the show.
Today's episode, we are revealing our top 5 sleep supplements. If you want to kick us off, Nate.
Oh, of course. I mean, my favorite is generally going to be some form of magnesium. There's plenty of different forms. There's a bunch of different brands, not sponsored by any of them. Wink, wink, yet. Maybe one day. The main two I'll recommend to people to avoid, say, what's the term? Disaster pants, because you can do that with magnesium. It makes things a little leaky on the other end. To be gentle, are going to be the glycinates or bisglycinates and the threonates. So, in general, the glycinates are going to be good for your cardiovascular system and muscle tissues. And the threonate is one of the only ones that actually makes it past your blood brain barrier. So, it's phenomenal for neurological recovery. And those two are usually going to be the best for covering your bases to really get full recovery for your entire system. There's quite a few other forms. The main two to not necessarily avoid, but be wary of are going to be the oxides and the citrates, just because those are the ones that can cause that said disaster pants from earlier.
Yeah, that's the one that's even used to treat things like constipation.
Correct, yes. So if you're constipated, go ahead and supplement up super doses to get that constipation away. But beyond that, try the other forms first for traditional recovery. And then if you do happen to be someone who's incredibly sensitive to even some of the other ones and you notice it's causing some stool issues, you can actually consider doing some topical magnesium. And that can prevent some of those symptoms from arising.
Like rubbing it on your thighs.
Thighs, wherever you feel a little tender, it'll help recover the muscles. So
Hmm.
if your thighs you worked out that day, it's more focused recovery there. If you worked back, get someone to rub it on your back. And anywhere. The one to be cautious of course, with topical magnesium though, is if you are in need of it, the cells will absorb it rather quickly and it can cause a little bit of itch for about 10 to 20 seconds.
Is this one your favorite just because it has Nate in the name?
Shh. No one's supposed to know that.
But that's how you can run the good ones. So magnesium glycinate, you're saying is a good option.
hmm
And that one also breaks down into magnesium, which is an essential electrolyte, as well as glycine, which is a relaxing amino acid and is inhibitory in the system, which can also further promote sleep.
And hopefully recuperative sleep.
Number two is the granddaddy of the over the counter sleep supplements,
Ooh.
melatonin, which, like, I also had a patient recently that told me, like, "Hey, I'm allergic to melatonin." To which I said, "That would be impossible because that would mean that you're dead."
Yeah, because our body makes it endogenously.
He's probably allergic to this preservative in the supplement or something,
Most likely, yes.
which I just thought was funny. And because your body makes melatonin, that's why it's considered to be relatively safe. So, melatonin is the sleep hormone your brain releases in response to darkness. So, when night falls, melatonin and sleep pressure builds up so we can have a better quality sleep at night. So, this is a good option to use as needed for things like travel in order to combat jet lag and reset circadian rhythms. Adults can take somewhere between 3 to 5 milligrams when it starts to get dark outside, unless you pass out immediately after taking it, in which case, take it closer to bedtime.
Good, good advice.
Don't take it and then drive a forklift immediately or something like that. Most common side effect is people can wake up feeling groggy the next morning. That just means that the melatonin dose might be a little too high for you and you still have some in your system the following day. Another thing to keep in mind is that bright lights, especially those blue lights we've talked about, will suppress your natural melatonin production, which is why we always push things like blue blocking glasses and staying off the phone. So, ideally, you want to use warmer colored lights or red lights once it becomes dark outside. If you light your house like a dingy strip club from the 90s, your melatonin production will improve.
Yeah, and that's why for all those gentlemen who go to strip clubs, they seem to get good night's rest.
That's why when I can't sleep, I hit up the strip club.
Yes, that's great, great for encouraging a good night's sleep. But yes, those ones definitely tap into the light for our own natural melatonin production. It's such a low hanging fruit for most people that over time, you'll really notice those benefits stacking in your favor. Number three, another go to for a lot of people who I've noticed they will notice quite a large difference in terms of being able to calm down in the evening are actually reishi mushrooms. And so, in general, we're still looking at all the different mechanics as to how they work. But one of the main things is they're an adaptogenic mushroom that kind of helps deal with different stressors in different regions of the body, which will help you relax into the evening. And then when you are in a more relaxed state, say supplementing the melatonin, the magnesium, you'll tend to find higher quality sleep because you can relax into the evening rather than going to bed stressed because of, say, the lighting, because you're on your phone too much. And there's a few other things like the triterpenes and the polysaccharides. You can make an argument that they trigger a cascade of production of serotonin within the gut, which is the precursor for the melatonin. But that one is to be determined, but it's a likely pathway for the extra benefit that you seem to get from reishi mushrooms. For those out there who are concerned about mushrooms, you don't necessarily just have to do a plain powder. There's a bunch of companies that'll make reishi hot chocolate, which is hitting some of those nostalgia notes to calm you down as well.
Mushroom hot chocolate?
Yeah, and it tastes delicious, so you get to have that nice, soothing, and comforting hot chocolate at night, which has that, again, nostalgia kind of programming on the body. And then you get your reishi mushrooms in, so you don't have to worry about the classic, is this supplement going to taste like ass? Because there's plenty out there that do. But this one, you get an enjoyable experience as well as all the benefits of relaxation.
I do prefer that over eating raw mushrooms
Yeah.
right before bedtime.
Yeah, not my go-to.
And supplements number 4 and 5 we can group together, which is valerian root and chamomile, which can be in a tea. They both work by enhancing the availability of GABA, which is an inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain, in a way that's similar to how other hypnotic medications work. So GABA can also have an anti-anxiety effect. So if you're one of these people where anxiety keeps you up at night, or if it's hard to shut the brain down because you're worried like, oh, I have to get the kids to school the next morning, or I have to get the car fixed. Things like valerian root and chamomile tea can have a calming effect and promote that sleep, similar to the reishi mushroom. So you have another option there too.
And even along the lines of GABA, we'll go bonus number six. There are actually companies that make high quality GABA supplements as well now.
Oh, yeah. And that can also be used off label to treat anxiety disorders or be a supplement to your other coping skills and techniques for helping you to relax.
Oh, yeah. And those are still going to be one of our things to prioritize for people. Like if you can adopt, say, good breathing techniques and good calming techniques for the evening to super enhance your sleep, you'll gain more essentially manual control over the system rather than becoming overly reliant on any of these chemicals or supplements.
And these supplements, they can come in the form of gummies or capsules or the teas and the hot chocolate,
Yep.
which are great if you like to have warm things in your mouth, right, Nate?
Oh, yeah. Warm things in your mouth at night is like one of the real secrets to sleep.
I feel like you're sharing my moves.
Actually, technically, it's the best way to start and end your day is a nice warm drink in your mouth.
Moving on.
But that being said, for those out there who are wondering, okay, how do I actually do this? That's what this part's for. And so the general rule, because we're focused on sleep supplementation and hopefully it makes sense, you want to take these in the evening before you go to bed.
Not first thing in the morning.
Correct. Yeah. First thing in the morning, they're going to kind of have the opposite effect of what you want in the morning. Probably sleep through the day as opposed to sleeping through the night, which isn't going to give you that same recovery. And so the big secret to this one is make it kind of obvious, put them in a place that you can see so that it becomes part of your nightly routine. So, like if you brush your teeth every night, I would say put it next to your toothbrush so that you can go, oh, yeah, I got to take my nighttime supplements. Because for most people, the bigger issue in taking any of these supplements we recommend for this or for anything is actually remembering to take them.
Consistency.
Correct. And if you have it in a spot where you're going to see it all the time, then you're way more likely to take it all the time. And you'll be able to see the consistent benefits of, say, the chamomile tea at night or the magnesium or whichever one you choose. And of course, try one at a time first. Don't go, oh my gosh, this is their top 5/6 supplements. I'm going to take them all. Um, that one may cause you to just get a little too deep of sleep. And so, but the real thing is you won't be able to pinpoint which one actually gave you the benefit. So, in general, try, say, if you wanted to try the magnesium, try that one at night, give it a week or two to see how it impacts you. And then if it didn't do too much, try the next one and find the one that actually works for you to thoroughly enhance your sleep.
And sometimes they can be used in combination with one another,
Yeah,
such as the magnesium with melatonin can be a helpful combination. Like what you said, safer to incorporate things one at a time. Otherwise, you risk getting overly groggy the next day or sleeping excessively and having an effect that you don't want.
for proper scaling, general recommendation, and of course, you can always ask, say, your healthcare professional to give you even more precision. But start with the ones that generally have less capacity to create dependence, and then you can scale up rather than starting with a mega dose of anything. So out of all these, the main one that does have the capacity to kind of create a dependence would most likely be the melatonin. So that would be one of the ones not to try right away in general. So you can start more simply with, say, the magnesium and then the chamomile tea or valerian tea, and then try the reishi hot chocolate. And then if those aren't having the intended impact after consistent use, say 3 to 4 days of consistent use at least, then you can go, oh, I should try the melatonin. And then you'll get to see whether or not that has the bigger impact for you.
And to piggyback off of what you're saying, oftentimes with the melatonin, if you do use it every night, what'll often happen is that it just becomes less and less effective as you keep on using it every night if you're not implementing other good and healthy sleep hygiene tactics. And that'll be recommended to cycle off the melatonin for a period of time, allow your body to use its own melatonin and building up its own melatonin so that if you did happen to go back to the supplement, you'll be sensitive to it again and it'll be more effective.
Yes, cycling that one is very important. And again, ideally, even with some of these other ones, aside from maybe the magnesium, even get into the habit of cycling your reishi. You don't want to become dependent on a particular supplement to trigger a sleep response. You want to start to get your night routine in order.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that supplements are only meant to be just that, a supplement. It's not a replacement for a healthy sleep routine. Because the better your sleep hygiene and the healthier you are, these supplements will work better and you won't need to use as much of them. Which makes sense. Like if you're on like a diet of like Mountain Dew and crystal meth cookies, then yeah, melatonin probably ain't gonna cut it.
Yes, keep that in mind. Yeah, don't do, if you just had a triple espresso, these will not have much of an impact.
So if you're the person who goes, sure, sure, I've tried every supplement and none of these work. I've tried everything. That typically means that there's an underlying issue that needs to be addressed. And we'd encourage you to follow up with your healthcare provider or to reassess your sleep routine because there might be something else going on.
Correct. And with that being said, definitely try these supplements out and go ahead and knock yourselves out.
Instead of counting sheep, you can count on us to help you sleep.
Well put. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Talking Schmitz. Remember to subscribe, leave us a review, and share us with your friends. Your support helps us reach more people and continue bringing you quality content. You can find us on Instagram at talking_Schmitz, and we'll catch you next time.